Hello, my name's Neve, welcome to my channel. This isn't an easy video to make, but I wanted to make it because I want to sort of document my grief journey for me and for other people who may be going through this, because the way that I've reacted to this situation, not that I ever thought of it, it isn't how, I don't know, I've reacted in a way that I didn't think that I would, I didn't think that I could, sort of thing. So if there's other people out there that are going through this or have been through this and are looking for something to identify with, someone to tell them that the way they feel is okay, what the next month has ahead for them, whatever, like, there's obviously a reason you've clicked on this video. So I just sort of, I'm going to use this video to document the emotions and things that I've been through, the things that I've thought of, as much as of them that I can remember, and then I plan on looking back, say in 6 months' time, and seeing what's changed. This will also be good just to have for me, so I'm doing it for myself as much as I'm doing it for other people. And you know, if you're someone that knows me and you're sat here thinking, who the fuck would make a video about something so personal, just fuck off, basically, because you don't know. Sorry, that was a bit harsh, but like, people judge people when they talk about the shit that they go through, and I want to break that stigma, because if me talking about it on the fucking internet can help someone in the way that people on the internet have helped me, then, I mean, yeah. I also, you can probably tell, I also sort of deal with things in a humorous way. This is obviously not a humorous topic, and I am going to try and keep it quite lacking in emotion if I can, because no one wants to see me sit here and cry, let's be honest. But if you aren't very good at like being around people that deal with trauma and humour in an amusing way, then and you want something a bit more, I'm not going to make jokes, but I deflect my trauma basically, and I don't want someone watching this to get hurt by that as if I'm making light of a situation, because I'm not. This is my situation and I'm sharing it with other people, because surely I'm not the only one going through this. But yeah, I've just sort of got notes here, that's why I keep looking down there, so I know what I'm saying and so that I'm not fucking chatting shit. And I'm also not gonna really edit this video, because I don't want to sit there and watch it back, and I want it to be as raw and real as possible. This video isn't my typical video, it's not out there to get views, it's not out there to be edited in a funny way, it's just out there for whomever may need it. So a month ago yesterday, I got the terrible news that I'd lost my mum to suicide. I'm not gonna go into the details of it. If you want to know what my mum was like, then I've got a video on my channel with her. This isn't a plug, but in that video she's a lot of who she was. She's funny, she's weird, she's quirky, she doesn't know what the hell she's doing in front of the camera, and she didn't really want to be making that video, so, but she does everything for me, or she did everything for me. So yeah, watch that video after this if you'd like to sort of know more about who my mum was, but I'm not speaking about that in this video because it's not sort of about that, it's about after, and it's about the grief process. So I've been through trauma before, and I think that may have helped me through this. I was in a terrorist attack like a few years ago. Sorry to just throw that in there, but you can see how I may have reacted to this the way that I did, because I know what it's like to go through something shocking and traumatic, and I already have a massive defence mechanism up because of that, I think. But when I first found out, I was dealing with it. So basically my dad came and told me in person, because I lived away from home. I think I dealt with it very factually. It was like, pack my bag, pack all my stuff to go home. I rang my friend. I was frantic. I was screaming, shouting frantically, but I wasn't like emotionally distraught. I was very like, I need to deal with the facts now and deal with the emotions later, and that's just kind of how I deal with things. But then when I got home, and like the day after that, I just felt so much pain and just kept crying and saying to people around me, does this get better? Will I ever stop feeling this pain? When do I stop feeling this pain? Like I was asking like my auntie, who had lost her dad before, my mum's sister, like, when did you stop feeling this pain? I reached out to other people online and was like, when does this stop? When do I stop? Am I gonna cry forever? Like, it hurt, and it was just like, how can I stop hurting? Because, you know, it's my mum, I'm always going to care for her, I'm always going to love her, sort of thing, so why would I stop hurting? But not long after that, it stopped hurting in the way that it was hurting like that. I sort of like sobered up. I was terrified to sleep, but I slept decently. Because of the terrorist attack, I've had nightmares every single night since that happened, so I wasn't as bothered about getting nightmares because I'm used to it, as horrible as that is. They faze me, but yeah. So after those like first couple of days, I did sort of sober up a bit, and I became sort of like emotionless, and that's how I've been for like the last 3 weeks, sort of. So I've written here that it's like, I knew I should be sad, like, so logically I knew that this is a sad thing, and I kept playing on my head like, this is what's happened, you need to accept it, sort of trying to make myself accept it, because I figured that's why I wasn't sad. So I was like, I know I should be sad, and I even want to be sad, I want to cry, but it was like I was constipated from tears, like I couldn't cry. And that really, really worried me, because I was like, am I, you know, blocking this out? I don't want to push this down, I want to feel it now, I don't want to feel it in 6 months time, or a year's time, or 2 years time. But everyone kept saying to me, like I contacted like therapists, like the doctors and stuff, and everyone kept saying to me, people cope differently. So if you're listening to this and this isn't how you coped, people do cope differently, and I didn't think that I would cope like this, because I mean, I thought I'd never stop feeling that pain. But I did sort of have the opinion that I just wanted to get up. Like, I've had a lot of mental health problems in my past, so I've built this resilience where even if I don't want to, I get up. So that's how I dealt with this. I got up every day. I even did my uni work. Like, my uni were amazing. They said that I didn't need to hand any assignments in, but I was like, no, I'm gonna work on it. I want to get the grade that I want, so I'm going to get up every day and not put pressure on myself to do things like normal people, but I'm gonna try. I'm gonna eat, I'm gonna drink water, I'm gonna talk to friends if I can, but also it like make sure that I give myself the slack and the time to not do work, or not see people, do you know what I mean? But I had a great support system around me as well, so you have to, if you don't have one, then it might be harder for you. But that's why I'm just mentioning that, like, I didn't just do this, I had people there. I'm also on antidepressants. I'm on, sorry, ran out of battery. I'm on sertraline, and that numbs emotions and stuff, so I was like, oh, maybe it's that's numbing emotions. But a couple of days ago I had a cry about it, and I've cried about it a couple of times since. So that is sort of the emotional side of what I've been going through the past month, and I'm now at a point today where like it is still a bit like constipated with my tears, but like I do keep crying in a way that I keep filling up. I don't sob, but I'm not really that kind of person anymore anyway. I used to be super emotional, but like because of stuff that I've been through and medication and therapy and stuff, I'm just not as much anymore. But I've been glad to see a bit of emotion these past couple of days. So if you're like me and you're constipated for emotion and you're trying to push it out, listen to people when they say people deal with things differently, because that's what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to know that what this grief journey that I'm taking is my own sort of thing. And then now I'm going to go on to like general thoughts that I've had, just the things that I've been going through my head, you know, that other people that, you know, that other people watching this might have thought about and maybe felt guilty for thinking about, or thought, why is that going through my head, sort of thing. So it's not in any chronological order. I've literally just like wrote down as they popped into my head, sort of thing. But one of the things that I did a lot straight away, and that I still do and I think will always do, because we never know the exact reason why someone takes their life, is why. I've been asking why. The first couple of days it was just sort of like on a loop in my head of like, why would anyone do this? And that's coming from someone like, I've been in that position, I've felt that low, but experiencing it firsthand and knowing the pain and the wreckage that you're gonna leave behind, it just, why? Like, but the why of it is, that comforts me and may comfort you if you're watching it, is that my mum wasn't well. She wasn't my mum anymore. I wasn't that aware of it because I lived away and people kind of wanted to keep me out of it, but she was ill, and in the same way that physical illness is, as we've seen especially this last year, as much as they can kill people, it's the same thing. You have an illness in your head, and the sooner people realise that when it comes to mental health problems, the better off we're all going to be, whether we're suicide survivors or people struggling with mental health issues. Is an illness, and some people are killed by it. Yeah. The next is that I was hurt to know that she was in that much pain to do something like that, because like my mum was such a strong woman, and she had so much love for me, and she would never do this to me if it was just up to her. So to know, like, she must have been going through so much pain to do this to me. If you like, no one will understand what I mean by that, because they're not me and she's my mum, but she loved me and her family, and her friends, and part of her did love herself, but she had, this illness had penetrated so much of her self-worth and so much of her happiness, and it made her so anxious that she was terrified to carry on. She was terrified of every day. So that is something that goes through my head. And I guess people say to comfort you with that one, well, at least she's not going through that anymore, but this is one that I can't really give advice on because I'm still not, I'm just going to end that there. I feel slight anger sometimes. I feel angry that I fought so much to get through my mental health issues. It kind of annoyed me, like, yeah, I'd say it annoyed me that just as I was starting to get better, my mum put this massive spanner in the works. Because it's like my hard work has been for nothing, because I don't know how I'm supposed to be strong through this. But then I just don't have any energy in being angry, really. In general, I'm not a very angry person, so this isn't a big issue for me, but I can see why it would be for other people, and it's kind of a selfish anger with me. It's selfish that she's fucked my life up like this. See, this is what I mean. I'm talking very insensitively in some ways, but this is how I feel, sort of thing. And this leads me on to another thing, like, I'm very defiant about it. Like, I'm very defiant about not letting it bring me down and not letting it ruin my life, because it sounds so insensitive, but it was her choice to do this and not mine, and I still have things to do, and I don't want to change my plans because of something that I can't control. And that's what she would have wanted. So I don't really feel guilty for that, because if I wasn't doing that, then she died in vain, do you know what I mean? She thought she was doing something better for us, and the one thing my mum wanted is for me to be happy and successful, and I don't want her to go in vain because my life gets fucked up because I can't handle it. So I'm going to handle it for myself mainly, but also for her and for my dad and the rest of my family. So again, if you're watching this and you're thinking she's insensitive, like, no, go away, I don't want to hear it, basically. And then another thing I felt quite fast was just, like, acceptance. I feel like there's a part of me that's deep down, like, subconsciously, my subconscious doesn't know what's happened yet, and it's slowly starting to figure out. But the me that I can control, like, has accepted it in a way, because I am just that type of person that, like, I've been through so much shit. I'm now at the point where, like, I just take things as they are, and I take things as they come, and I deal with it, and I change what I can change. But if I can't change it, then I'm not gonna let it stand in front of me. And I didn't think it would work with something as big as this, but so far, and this is why I want to do a 6-month video, because I'm still in shock. I still don't fully understand. This whole month has been so fast, like, so I could regret everything that I'm saying right now, but right now I'm taking things as facts and life as it is. Yeah. And then that leads me on to, like, I'm worried about what my life's gonna be like, where my life's gonna go, because, I mean, of all the things, like, my mum's not gonna be at my wedding, if I have one. If I have grandchildren, children, my mum's not gonna meet them. That sort of stuff. There's not really much more I can say about that, but other than that's, like, a thought that I've been having. But again, that's something that I'm not in control of, and I'm not at that point yet, so that's not as important to me right now. My anxiety, on the other hand, as much as I'm saying all this and all this preaching stuff's coming out my mouth, it hasn't stopped like my anxiety. It's got a lot worse. If you haven't watched my other videos before, then you won't know, but I suffer with OCD and anxiety, and this kind of situation is the exact thing that I have it about. So that's got worse, and I was just starting to work on that and get better, so that's great. But I mean, I've got through anxiety like that after Manchester attack, so again, it's something that I just have to try and work through. But yeah, it's horrible. I feel like people don't talk about the anxiety that comes with grief, but it really fucking comes with it. Yeah. Another thing is like what people are gonna think of me. Like, my whole life, I mean, I've always been like, I'm an only child in my parents are together, they're married, like I've never had, I don't know, like obviously I've had things in my life that haven't been great, but at some point someone is gonna ask me like, oh, what do your parents do, or how's your mum, how's your parents, like, and at some point I'm gonna have to become the person that says my mum's not here, and then they're gonna ask why. And I've noticed people look at me different, and I don't want them to look at me different. I don't want every day to walk around and as if I have a big sign on my head and everyone be looking at me like they have to walk on eggshells around me and stuff. Like, obviously I want like my close friends and stuff to care about me, to understand that I'm gonna get sad sometimes and stuff, but I don't want to be looked at like a sad case all the time, because that's not who I am. I mean, sometimes it is, but I don't know, I get paranoid. Like, we live in a small town, and I get paranoid that every stranger I walk past knows. But at the same time, I'm also like, fuck it, like, this is my life. It fucking happens to loads of people, so I'm not ashamed that people know. It's not something that I'm ashamed of. I don't know. I'm still not fully clear on how I feel about other people and what they think of me, and people in my life that I'm not friends with anymore. It's like this video, like, are people gonna sit there and like chat shit about me and send it to people and be like, who the fuck makes a video like this, like such an attention seeker? But like I said, fuck it, like, you don't know what I'm going through, and loads of people go for it, and the thing that helped me get through those first 2 days especially was speaking to other people and listening to other people's experiences. I tweeted out, please can other people send me their experiences, and they did. And you don't realise, if you're judging me for this, then you really don't realise how much it helps to know that you're not alone. So again, I reiterate, this is why I'm making this video. And another thing I feel is a bit of guilt for coping. Like, I feel like because I'm doing so well, I feel like I'm doing a disservice to my mum. Like, I worry that she's there and she's looking at me and she's like, why doesn't she care about me? When that's not the case. I'm just not the type of person, at the minute at least, and it's not a bad thing if you are, but personally, I just sort of, I'm a grin and bear it kind of person. but I do feel a bit of guilt for that. And again, I don't know if I'm gonna be this resilient all the way through. It's only 1 month in, you know, so another thing I do is, like, when I look back on, like, the memories of, like, those first few days of, like, the finding out and see what I mean? Sorry, that's not nice to think about. But when I think of, like, memories, it's like, in fact, this is how it was for the last few weeks. It'd sort of be like I'd depersonalise myself from them unintentionally, and I could, like, it'd be like watching them as if I was watching them on TV, and there was, like, a glass between us and that and me, even though that is me and that is my memory. But but the past couple of days, memories have been having an effect on me, and I do find myself stopping and seeing things go on in my head, and I just sort of shake them off if I can and carry on. Again, like, I've dealt with trauma and PTSD before. It's just a blip in my day. So yeah, I'm just gonna try and keep controlling it that way. Something that I've really struggled with, actually, the first couple of days, the first few days, is worrying that I will end up, like, in the same way that she did, because I really don't want to. I really don't want to. And I read something that, like, in fact, I'm not even going to say it because it bothered me, but obviously, statistically, there's probably more of a chance that I would. And I also have borderline personality disorder, and like I've said before, I've personally struggled with suicidal thoughts and attempts in my past, and I've done so much work to move on from that these past couple of years, that going back to that is a really scary option for me that I don't want. I don't want that. So yeah, I've had a lot of worry about that. I've had thoughts. In fact, no, I'm just gonna leave it at that, because I don't want to trigger anyone too much, or make them think things that they originally weren't thinking. Do you know what I mean? Which is the danger with when you're looking stuff up on the internet. But another thing I feel is sadness for her, because I personally think this world has a lot of beautiful things to offer, all around us, and I know my mum felt like that too. She found a lot of joy in very easy and simple things, and the fact that she doesn't get to experience that anymore is really hard and heartbreaking, because she deserves to. Yeah, that's difficult. I don't know what more else I can really say on that, because I'll just start crying like a little baby. Just kidding, it's good to cry. Like I said, I was worried about the fact that I wasn't crying, so if you are a crier, that's really good for you. My next thing, it's a bit controversial. So I've lost my belief system. I've never been religious, really. I've not been brought up in a religious household. I went to religious primary schools and stuff, but I was always just on the fence about all of that stuff. And I have a complete respect and even a bit of envy towards people who do have that comfort and who are religious. But I'm sort of unsure about everything, but I did think that, like, I did worry, I was scared, I worried and was scared that there was, like, something out there, you know, like, me and my friend have done ghost hunts before, so, like, there obviously was some sort of part of me that, like, considered that to be a thing, but I've sort of lost that in a way because I've personally not seen her or anything yet. My friends have had what they think are signs, and so did I, but at this point it's kind of just like we haven't had any yet, so yeah, I'm kind of struggling with that, like the knowledge that maybe when someone does pass away, they just pass away. But again, if you're watching this and like you are religious, then kind of take no notice of it, because I don't want to like change the way that you are dealing with it in a religious way, in the way that you believe in what's after everything on this wavelength sort of thing. Another thing that I've tried not to think about really, because there's no point, because like I said, things are how they are basically, but I did think about it a lot in the start, is like, is it what she really wanted? We didn't have like a suicide note or anything. I have no idea how planned it was. Was it spontaneous? Would she regret it? Does she regret it? Is it what she really wanted? And one of the reasons I don't think about that is because it upsets me. Because on the one hand, I'm like, I want her to have wanted it, because then maybe she's happy. But then on the other hand, the thought of her not wanting it and regretting it is just horrible. So horrible. Like, But, yeah, I'm sorry, I've sort of gone a bit into my head. I can't really put thoughts together properly, so I'm going to move on from that thought. I also felt sad that, like, I didn't have as many memories with her, or like, maybe I'm just struggling to remember them right now, because like I do have loads of memories with her, but obviously over the past few years I've been living away from home, so I've not really seen that much of them, and I haven't got any proper pictures of us for over a year, because you just don't think. And I never thought that that would be something that bothered me so much, but it is basically. Yeah. If you are someone who, I mean, even if you are, but if you're just watching this because like you know me, or like you're just interested, like, I do recommend taking, I know people are like, put your phones away, like, have the memories, but at the end of the day, pictures are memories that last forever, and I don't know about you, but my memory's not very good. So, to have had more pictures of us two just together, that would make it really a lot easier for me, because I could look at a snapshot, like candid pictures of us. That's what I want, of us talking. The only thing I've got is that YouTube video, but even that is like, we're putting up a front in it because we know there's a camera there, but obviously, you know, you're not gonna have a secret photographer walking around with you all the time, so I've sort of accepted that. But that was something that really upset me, was like the lack of organic sort of memories and pictures and videos and stuff that I have. It's really sad. Fuck. I shouldn't have brought that back up. I also, in a strange way, one of the reasons that I think, I said this at the funeral, because I spoke at the funeral, but one of the ways that I've sort of been not okay, but like dealing with it, is because I feel so blessed to have known her, and at the end of the day, I'd rather have had 21 years than nothing. And why I only got that long, why she only got that long with me, because she really loved me, I don't know. It's really cruel. It is really cruel. But at the end of the day, if we love someone so much that we feel this much grief, then we loved someone special, and I'm just grateful for that. I know it sounds so stupid to be so positive about something so not positive. Like, it really is shit. It is shit, and I don't want to be sat here and being all like positive, and I don't want you to think my positivity is false, because it's not. And I know it's silly to have such a bright outlook on it in a way, even though I'm sat here crying, but that's just is how I've dealt with it and how I'm taking it. And I can solidly say that every single person watching this who's watching it because they've lost a loved one, we were blessed and we were lucky. Like, we were lucky. I'll never ever get another mum, and I never ever thought I'd lose her like this, but I had her, and she's passed so much on to me. I'm not even gonna bother getting into because I'd just be arse-licking all the good things about myself that she's given me. I don't really want to end this video because, like, I feel like I don't want to end talking about her. I can't just sit here and talk about her to myself, can I? But anyway, I am going to end it because that's all the notes that I've got. And if you've made it this far, thank you for listening to me, and hopefully this helped you in some way. I don't know how this could help you. I don't know if this is even, this could be really like a bad idea, but my intention is to help someone with this video. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. Big love to you and your families and everyone. Big love. See you in a bit.